welcome back to the channel, or to the channel, whichever one it may be. And if you are new here, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful things, and join me in my diamond painting journey. Anyway, let's get into today's video. I am going to talk about the 80s, but first a little bit of like what I'm doing, what I'm using, and I think that's it. So what I'm using, I'm not actually using this guy right now. I just thought I'd bring him out. This is one of the cats available in my small shop. So if you want to check that out, it's a Truvampire art over on Etsy. It's usually always down in the description. I don't know if the link works or not, because I do just kind of copy and paste my links. So I don't know if it's going to work or not. But anyway, yeah, that's linked, or that is down in the description. The link may work, it may not work, but it is Truvampire art on Etsy. Then I'm using this pen. I do believe this is Jim's Handmade Pen Shop that I got this from. That's also an Etsy shop, and I always loved his pens. It is just a resin pen, and it is just a plain 3-bump pen, but I like the weight. I know there are some people that like to have a lighter pen and they like the 3D printed pens, but to me, I am printing myself a pen right now. I'll see how I do using it, but I usually don't like the actual texture, because there is a texture to 3D printing, and it's a texture thing with the pens. But I do use the trays, so you can get these trays in my small shop. This is actually a new color that's in the small shop. This is purple. And if you get it warm, it will turn pink. So it's purple to pink, or purple heat pink, on the shop. I don't know if you can kind of, maybe I'll hold it a little bit here while we talk about the diamond paintings, and then we'll show it again. So let's move the cat out of the way a little bit here. And I'm going to put you in my lamp. The dragon can hold you. Okay, so the diamond paintings that I am working on for the month of April, we're only in April, right? Yeah, April, for the events being hosted through the Diamond Painting Friends 2.0 and Wendy over at Diamonds and Stuff are, we'll start with the first one. So this is for the 80s. This is the one I'm going to work on today. That's what I'm going to talk about my experience growing up in the 80s. And yeah, so this is the Generally from the Dukes of Hazzard, and that is as far as I've gotten so far, which is pretty decent. I'm at least halfway done, so that's pretty good. And then we have Anubis. I'm working on him for the Walk Like an Egyptian event being hosted by Wendy over in Diamonds and Stuff. You can see I'm also halfway done with this one. Actually, I'm halfway done with each, technically, because there's 4 here and 2 here. So halfway done with each. He's looking pretty cool. I decided not to add any extras to him. I just went with how he is, because I could have added some gold, and that would have looked cool, but I just decided to just go with it and how it is. So that's that. And then we have this one. This is the tree that I'm doing for the military and first responders event, which I'm actually, it goes this way. So you can see it there. This one I am more than halfway done with. I only have this row left, which I was hoping to finish in this week. I was going to do like 1 row for each week, and then be able to do other canvases throughout the rest of the month, because I have like 3 canvases from last month that I still haven't finished, and then so many other WIPs already. So yeah, anyway, that is the 3 canvases that I've been working on for the month of April. We're gonna go ahead and set up to do the WIP and Chat, and I've just been kind of keeping them like this so that when I do work on them, it's just, I kind of like work on one section on each at a time. But I did kind of run a little ahead. Whoop, don't fall off the table stand. There we go. We're going to work on this section right here. So let me see if I can just lift this up a little, and then we will zoom in on Alice there. There we go. I know she's a little crooked. My camera's a little crooked. All right, I have to like set it off, offset it, you know? Okay, and the tray, see? I've been holding it for all that time. Purple to pink. When you warm it up, it turns pink. I thought that was cool. So in the shop, I think I have it listed as purple, heat, pink. I don't have it on much yet. I think I only have it on the event so far, but I will be putting it on more stuff. As far as the shop, I don't know if I'm going to continue it or not. I am for now because I want to work through some of the product that I have. But come the future, I'm not sure if I'm going to close it or not at this point, but it might close. It's just going to be a bit because I have a lot of shipping boxes that I want to work through first. So it's still going to be open for at least April and May. It depends on how far I get with the shipping boxes. What's there, right? That row. Yeah. Okay. Just reset that a little. So we will see. But yeah, so sad news. It might close. It is not too much, really. It's just, it's also a lot. Not, like the shop itself is not too much. It hasn't really been a problem. But, it is just one more thing on my very full, very busy plate. I'm gonna pull this a little closer to me. I don't know if you noticed that move. Or not, but yeah, I like this camera because I can be right on top of my diamond painting, or sorry, this phone stand, because I use a phone. I don't really use a camera. I'm using my phone. I have a camera, and you'd think I'd use it more, but I don't. It's a little bit more of a struggle. From the phone, I can just go right onto an app and upload from my app. But anyway, let's get into the 80s because we're doing the Dukes of Hazzard here. So I'm gonna like straight up say I am a baby of the 80s. So I'm a baby of Gen X is what I mean, not of the 80s. I am a baby of Gen X. I would have been between 0 and 10 years old during the 80s. I turned 10 in 1990 and I was born in 1980. So that is how I am the baby of Gen X. I'm 45 years old, so I'll be 46 this year. Which I think also makes me a baby of the diamond painting world. I think. There's a couple that are around my age, but I think I am probably the baby of the diamond painting world. Or one of a baby, or yeah. You know what I mean. One of the babies of the diamond painting world. So if you're watching this, you can let me know if at 46 I am one of the babies of the diamond painting world. But yeah, so my experience as a 80s kid would be based around a preteen. So fashion was not a thing when you're you know, 1 through 9. Especially since like the first 5 years, your fashion is based around what your mother puts you in. After that, you might have a little bit more of a say in what you're wearing because you might dress yourself. But let's just say I was a kid that wore a lot of t-shirts and jeans. Maybe nice pants and a few dresses here and there. But mostly I was probably t-shirts and jeans because that's what I had. And my mother was not a girly girl. My mother was just one of the guys. She was feminine, but when we went places, she was definitely more hanging out with the men than she was with the women. So, yeah. She's not on the girly girl side. She had dresses And I don't know at what point she stopped wearing dresses, but at one point she stopped wearing dresses and started just wearing really nice pantsuits. You know, feminine pantsuits, but just feminine pantsuits because she hated dresses. And I loved dresses. So it was, you know, later on in life, actually after, in the early 90s, that I met the person who helped me become a girly girl. So, so I was not fashion forward at all during the 80s. And my parents, to me, were poor because we didn't get the nice new fancy clothes, and we didn't get the nice new fancy shoes, but we weren't poor. We were very much middle class. It's just that my mother was not a girly girl, and so I did not get the girly girl things except for the nice dresses for like Easter and special events and stuff. But that's the only reason why I think it was the way that it was. Yeah. So fashion was not something I was into at that point anyway, because I was just a child. But the toys, definitely into the toys. I had a bunch of My Little Ponies because I was big into horses. 9 years old, I started riding horses, but before that, they were just something I really liked to look at and play with. So I didn't have Barbies. I had Barbie's horses. I did have one doll family. It was, I want to say they were like camping or something, and it came with a mom, a dad, a baby, and like a younger sibling or something. And that was the doll set that I had, but it wasn't Barbie. It was just a doll set. And then I had I think I had the Rabbit family. So you could get, like, they had, like, these little toys that were, you could have, like, a rabbit family, a cat family, or a bear family. And you would think, as cat crazy as I am, I would have had the cat family. But no, I had a rabbit family. And I had Care Bears. I had the big Care Bear pillow. Pillow Pals. Do you remember the Pillow Pals? I had a Pillow Pals. Now looking back on that, yeah, no, we were not poor, because I definitely had some of the cool toys and stuff. Like, for Christmas, oh, my parents went all out. I remember one Christmas, I think it was like 8 or 9 years old. I don't know. It was like when I was younger, and my dad ended up with the whole week after Christmas off. And my mom was at that point a stay-at-home mom, because my cousins were like practically living with us at that point. They practically lived with us like my whole growing up, but I felt like my cousins were like other brothers most of the time, because they were always there, always hanging out. They went on vacations with us, and we always hung out and we did things together. But anyway, I just remember this one Christmas that my parents, like, they went, I don't know if it was just my mom going crazy or like, but my dad would put money aside in a Christmas fund kind of thing for the year. And so like Christmas Day, there was so many presents under our tree. It was massive. Like, they came all the way out into the living room. There were just so many presents, and it took us the entire week to open all those presents, because in our family for Christmas, only one person opens a present at a time, and everybody else watches them open their present so that they can see what they get and cheer. And if you got a toy, which at that point in time, we were all kids, so we all got toys, because I have 2 older brothers. We all got toys. So that means that, like, when my brothers got a set of Legos, we all stopped to play with the Legos. When my brother Elliot got a set of, he got a remote control car. Is this even in? Oh yeah, no, we're good. It's all in frame. It's just, I think I can move over a little bit and put it a little more central frame. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, he got a remote control car, so then he had to play with his remote control car. I think I got that family that year. Like that family of dolls. I think that was one of the toys I got that year. And then I got a Barbie horse. Oh, I loved that Barbie horse. Blinking Beauty. I still have a Blinking Beauty. Not the original Blinking Beauty from when I was a kid, because that Blinking Beauty's legs were so broken. Yeah, my Barbie horses, their legs got broken a lot, and my dad was like coming up with all kinds of ways to put their legs back on, and then eventually it would get to a point and my mom would like throw them away, and then I'd be so mad at her because I would still play with them with broken legs and all. I didn't care. I was like, no legs, I'm still playing with them. That was it, the Barbie horses. But Blinking Beauty was my Barbie horse, and I loved her because, like, if you pulled back on the mane, she would blink her eyes. But I do have a Blinking Beauty. It's just not the one from when I was a kid. It's just one I bought off of eBay later on in life because I was like, I really want this horse back in my life. And I do have some of my other Barbie horses that I actually had as a kid that didn't have broken legs, because some survived, believe it or not. Where they are, I don't know. I think they're out in our shed, because when we moved, we didn't quite finish unpacking because, yeah, it's still chaos in here. Hey, Griffin. What you doing, Griffaldy Griff? Anyway, yeah. So I had My Little Ponies. My favorite thing to play with was G.I. Joe. Loved my brother's G.I. Joes. They were like my Barbies, honestly. He had this G.I. Joe, plane. It was a plane. And there was like a small plane attached to it or something like that. So like the plane would like birth a plane. And oh my gosh, I loved playing with that thing. I think I played with that more than he did. And he would be so mad because he would try to find his G.I. Joe plane and he couldn't find it. And then honestly, I think because I was quite a bit younger than him, I think it got to a point where like he didn't care, which both my brothers are definitely Gen X. So, but there's 6 years between my eldest brother and I. So I think after some time, I think he just didn't care that I was playing with it. I just don't think it bothered him, but I loved playing with his G.I. Joes and Hot Wheels. I had so many Hot Wheel cars. Oh, loved them. They were my absolute favorite toys. Because, like every other Gen Xer, he woke up in the morning, Mom fed us breakfast, and then we were kicked out of the house. It was a go outside and play. And we lived in farmland, so we had forest or woods around us. I mean, they were just woods with a couple of brooks and like some small streams and stuff. So if we were thirsty, we either drank from the stream or we went to the house and drank from the hose. So yes, I drank from the hose. I did. I drank from the hose. And it was fine. You know, it was fine. So I gotta get this out because I need my trash drills. All right. One of my favorite things to play with my brother was ninjas. We would run off into the woods and pretend that we were ninjas. And yeah, we'd be like attacking secret people. It was so fun. And they built rope swings out in the woods. And later on in life, they had dirt bikes and stuff, but that was, you know, not in the 80s. That was more in the 90s. I don't remember them having a dirt bike. Maybe they did have a dirt bike in the 80s. I don't fully remember when they first got their dirt bikes, but I know that one Easter, we all got bikes. We all got bikes for Easter, like regular pedal bikes, and it was so fun. Just riding around on our little huffy bikes. They got nice bikes. Like, they had these nice pedal bikes that were like probably, you know, like the bike of the time. I had just this little huffy. It was so girly. I think it had, honestly, I think it was a strawberry shortcake bike. Pretty sure my bike was strawberry shortcake, which I never had a strawberry shortcake myself, but my friend did, and I used to play with hers. So at least I can't remember having a strawberry shortcake. And so, like, obviously I was just a kid. I wasn't into fashion, so I can't really talk about the fashion. Music, I was a kid, so I was kind of stuck listening to what my mom was listening to. So my mom was very religious. She still is very religious, to the point where we didn't go trick-or-treating because trick-or-treating was bad. And yeah, I mean, I did later on in life, so don't feel bad for me. But having to walk around as a little kid with a box and saying trick-or-treat for UNICEF. And you couldn't get candy. You could only get the money. Because you'd be collecting for, obviously, for like donations and stuff for UNICEF. And yeah. It kind of sucked. Now, if the people gave us candy, my mom let us have it. It's not like she was like, no, you can't have it, because she was that religious. No, she was like, okay, you can have the candy. But because the people gave you candy, you can have the candy. But that was our trick-or-treating, was to go around and collect for UNICEF. But once I got my driver's license, my friend and I went trick-or-treating up until I was about 25 years old. So I got my trick-or-treating experience in, just not when I was a kid. So I don't know if anybody remembers that, UNICEF. I know it was a big thing, and I think it was a big thing in the 80s. You don't really hear about it now. Like, I don't hear about it, but then again, I also am attempting to go to church again, but I just haven't found a church where we fit in yet. And I couldn't because of work for a while. Whereas now I'm going to be able to look into and try to find a church because I'm not going to be working. So we'll see what happens. But right now we don't have a church because we just haven't gone. Haven't found one because of work. So, there's like, I remember, oh yeah, I was talking about like what my mom listened to. So she was into Amy Grant, and she likes Celine Dion. But I know I definitely listened to Madonna at that point. It was just not with my mom, so probably with like my grandmother or other people, because my grandmother was so much fun, and she would babysit me when my mom, because my mom did work at some point when I was young, and then she didn't work, and then she worked again. So she was a stay-at-home mom for a little while, but then she wasn't. And I think, honestly, like, the years that she was working is probably when we had the best Christmases, because she was able to just, you know, go wild, buy a bunch of stuff. But we were not poor like I thought we were. We were solid middle class, maybe upper middle class growing up. Because one of my friends said, "You live in a mansion." And I was like, "No, it's just a house." They call it a ranch. It's not a mansion. It's just a house, as far as I know. I mean, it isn't that big. It's only it's a technically 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a basement. But they did the basement, so now it's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath with an apartment that's a 1-bedroom with a bathroom. Because they added that into the basement. When they finished the basement, they took out the garage. So growing up, we had a garage, and then my parents never used the garage for the car, so they decided to take out the garage and make it into another room. And that was my brother. His bedroom was in the basement, or like downstairs. We just called it downstairs because it would have been a basement, but it wasn't quite a basement. It was like, it had one side underground, but the other side was not underground. So like the back half of the house wasn't underground. You could just walk out. We had a back door down there, a downstairs door. You could just walk out the door downstairs. But then we had the upstairs, and there was a big porch upstairs, and there was another back door up there. So it was like a door, you know, like one door up, one door down. And we had a pool. That was fun. I had so many pool parties, and we wore the bathing suits. I think I had one that was like rainbow or something. It was probably because I was a big fan of Rainbow Bright, so I probably had Rainbow Bright stuff. I loved Rainbow Bright. I probably watched that show. I watched My Little Pony. I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, I loved the Turtles. And then Knight Rider. Knight Rider was like my big show. Loved Knight Rider. Ugh. Definitely one of the best. I still love Knight Rider. I actually have it in a box set. It's pretty cool. And because I'll still watch it like today. There's a few shows that I'll go back and watch like that. Knight Rider is one of them. And yeah. So I remember, like, for us, we would get dressed up nice for Easter, because obviously, like, my mom was big into going to church, and my dad went with her, because my dad absolutely adores my mom. Like, he loves her so much. Like, there was never any doubt that my dad loved my mom. Like, it's just, like, she was the only one for him. And it was just, that was just how it was. It still is, because he still loves her completely. Even though I sometimes question her love back for him. But she even once told me it was a marriage of convenience. Oh, okay. I think she does love him. I just don't think that it's the same amount of love that he has for her, because he just adores her. And I just don't think that she adores him back. I think she just loves him. But anyway, so for Easter Sunday, my mom would get us dressed up all nice. Like, she would get us dressed and ready to go first before she did herself. Even though, like, I can still remember my mom's perfume. Like, I can, like, mentally smell her perfume that she would wear on these Easter Sundays. And yeah, she would actually do makeup, but it would, I don't know, like, if you remember, like, the 80's makeup, the way that it was, that's how she did her makeup. So she had, like, this bright blue eyeshadow. It was so 80's. It really was. And then her hair, she's always done her hair like Farrah Fawcett. And I'm sure everybody should know who Farrah Fawcett is. If you don't, well, look her up and you'll see her hair. But her hair has always been like Farrah Fawcett and still is to this day. It's how she does her hairstyle. So it's like the only way I can like picture her hair is just as that Farrah Fawcett hairstyle. Which I don't know if that was 80's or more like 70's. I think it was more 70's than 80's, but definitely. It's a very pretty hairstyle, but that's what it is. And yeah, but she would get us dressed, my brothers and I, and we would have to sit and wait for them to get ready to go. And where she would have us sit and wait was outside. So you can imagine, I got dirty sometimes. Most of the times, my brothers would keep me, you know, like, they'd keep me sitting there, but I'd be, like, itching to go play, like, go ride my bike or go do something, you know, because we're sitting outside. We'd be sitting outside on our front walkway, and there was a set of stairs that went down, so we could sit on the stairs and wait. And then she would come out with our Easter baskets and stuff, and she would take pictures of us all dressed up, or my dad would take pictures. I don't know. One of them would take pictures of us all dressed up in our nice clothes on Easter Sunday morning. Either before or after church. I can't remember. I think it was always before church, because after church we were usually doing something at the church. So it was probably before. So she'd bring our Easter baskets out, and we'd take pictures with our Easter baskets. And then I don't know if we were allowed to have, like, the candy at that point. I think we were, like, allowed to have, like, one thing or something, like. And then we'd have to go, like, we'd have to she'd put the Easter baskets away back in the house. Pictures would be done. And we always got chicks. So, like, every Easter Sunday, we got chicks. And we'd sit out there holding our chicks, and they'd take pictures of us with the chicks. I hate chickens, by the way. Oh, I hate them. I think because it was my chore. My chore was to feed the chickens. I didn't have to clean the chickens or do anything like that. I just had to feed the chickens. And some of our chickens were not nice, and they would chase you. But the chicks were fun. Chicks are cute and adorable. My neighbors had great chickens. Like, they never chased you. So, I don't know. Our chickens were mean. I guess we had this giant rooster that, like, one of the dogs unalived. That somebody just, like, brought this giant rooster to our house. And, like, we weren't home. And the dog protected the yard. She did what she was supposed to do. She protected the yard. That was fun. My brother was a big fan of this particular car, the Generali, and the show, The Dukes of Hazzard. I honestly was too young to really remember it. So I don't really have... Like, I have memories of watching The Dukes of Hazzard later on, because obviously reruns and stuff like that. But I didn't watch it. I definitely wasn't into, like, Magnum P.I. or anything like that, because let's face it, I was watching My Little Pony and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, and Reading Rainbow. I was watching Reading Rainbow and oh, the Fraggles. Oh, I loved the Fraggles. The Gummy Bears. Loved the Gummy Bears. It was such a good show. Because we didn't have cable, but we had cable. My brothers figured out how to hook up and steal cable. So we had cable, but we didn't have cable. And like every other 80s child, we came home from school, and most of the time there was no parents. And so my brothers were tasked with watching me when I was, you know, probably around like 8 years old, I would say. Like, that's probably around the time that I can remember coming home. And my brothers were in charge, and they would watch me, and we weren't supposed to leave the yard. We could go outside, but we weren't supposed to leave the yard. Oh, you know how many times I told my brother for leaving the yard? So many times. Because we were allowed to go outside, but we had to stay in the yard. And yeah, but a lot of times we'd just be in the house just watching TV, you know, having fun, watching TV, playing with toys. I spent a lot of time by myself because I had 2 brothers and no sisters, so Mom would let them go off and play, and she would tell me to stay with her for the day so that they could go be boys, basically, and play without their kid sister up their butt. So I did spend a lot of time just playing by myself. And that's like what I can remember is just like sitting in my bedroom playing with my toys by myself. Even on nice days sometimes, because like I said, my mom would just be like, nope, I'm going to let them go be boys today, and they don't need their little sister, so you're just going to stay here with me. And we do stuff together. Like we'd bake or cook or stuff together. Sometimes she'd have me help her with cleaning the house, which I hated, still do. And sometimes she'd have other projects that she'd be working on, like she'd be painting walls in rooms or stuff, and she'd have me help her with that. But a lot of times I just played by myself in my bedroom with my toys, my Barbie horses and my Little Ponies. It was fine though. Like, I think I'm fine. Am I? Yeah, I think so. I do okay. I was a typical Gen X kid. Pretty much left alone, right? Is that what we were? Pretty much left alone. Come home and the street light comes on. Well, guess what? We didn't have a street light. There was no street light to come home to. No, it was more like when my mom whistled, you came home. Because she could step out the back door of our house and whistle, and you would hear her from a mile away. And you'd be like, oh, time to go home. I was never that far away, though. My brothers would be, but I wasn't. And they'd still hear her, and they'd still come home every single time. Like, I'd usually just be hanging around the house or something, because my brothers would ditch me. So it was either my mom said, no, you're going to stay home and hang out with me for the day. Or my brothers would just be like, yeah, we're not dealing with you today, and just totally ditch me and take off. And then I'd be stuck just hanging out at the house, playing with my toys. I remember sitting in the backyard by the pool a lot, playing with my Hot Wheel cars. Just in the dirt, playing with Hot Wheel cars. Later, the neighbors ate the neighbor's dog would come over and eat the Hot Wheel cars. She actually ate them. She ate so many things. She came over to our house and she'd eat things that she found in our yard. Didn't matter what it was, she'd eat it. She was a great dog, though. She's nice. She was a friendly dog. What else do I remember? I mean, that's basically it. We went to the movies a few times, saw things in the movies. The only one I can really visually remember is E.T. because it traumatized me. According to my mom, when we went to see E.T. at the drive-in, there was another movie that showed before E.T. that was, because it was, you know how there's two movies that usually play? You have one that starts at like dusk and then one that's afterwards. And the one before was a kid-friendly one. And so then I guess I was supposed to be asleep. According to her, I was supposed to be sleeping. But I stayed up and watched the entire movie E.T. And it traumatized me. I was so scared of E.T. And I have two brothers. So you can just guess what they did to me because I was scared of E.T. I remember one of them would hide in the closet, and then, because E.T. was primarily in the closet in the movie, they'd hide in the closet, and then the other brother would be like, E.T.'s in your closet, and then the brother inside the closet would like make noise. Oh, I'd be freaking out. To this day, my closet door cannot be open because it's just like, ugh. And it took me forever to get over that fear. I've been on the ride at Universal several times now, and I am over it. Like, I'm not afraid of E.T. anymore. I could probably watch the movie. I just haven't. I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years, but I've never fully, like, sat down and watched the whole movie. But I did ride the ride at Universal, so I could get over my fear of E.T. Which is weird because, like, I watched The Goonies and loved it. I watched Stand By Me and loved it. Like, I had, except for the scene where they all, you know, in Stand By Me. Oh, I forever could not stand that after that. I'm like, nope. And then I worked at Disney, and at Disney, in case you didn't know, you have to guard it when someone does it until someone comes to clean it up. Yeah, that's fun. So now I'm fine. It's, you know, you grow up. You grow up, you learn to adjust and deal with things in different ways, and that's that. But yeah, I think Stand By Me was another movie that I was technically supposed to be in bed or sleeping when they watched it. But I watched the whole movie. Yeah. I can remember many times my family would be watching the movie, and they'd watch them downstairs. They had we've always had like a TV and a couch in the basement, kind of, in the downstairs, because like I said, it was primarily finished for most of my life. And they set up a TV and a couch down there. So that meant that, like, we had 2 TVs in our house at all times. So yeah, we were poor. We were not poor. I just, you know, as a kid, I just thought we were because I didn't have the nice clothes like all my friends had. No, my mom didn't know anything about fashion or style. That's all it was. Not because she couldn't afford to buy the clothes. She could have. Just, she didn't know fashion. But anyway, I have finished this section. That was 43 minutes of me just jabbering on about my life. I hope you enjoyed. And, yeah. So many times of me just sneaking downstairs and hiding behind the couch and watching movies when I was supposed to be sleeping. But that was my childhood in a nutshell, growing up in the 80s. Probably a lot different than a lot of your memories of the 80s, because I think a lot of you were teenagers, whereas I was just a baby for most of it. So I hope you enjoyed, and just, you know, let me know in the comments what you think. If you've made it this far, leave a little heart emoji in the comments to let me know you've made it here. And thank you for watching.